Hello and welcome to JBCMotive, the channel with a motive for car reviews and of course interviews. Today we seated right in the MGGS. This car is awesome and phenomenal. Although Chinese owned but British crewed and operated, with more than 500 staff at the Birmingham facility where it completes final assembly from knockdown kits shipped from SAIC in China, MG Motors is one of the greatest self-proclaimed success stories of modern manufacturing in Britain. There are questions about how exactly British the story is, never mind how successful, but while its waves are partially felt in Paris, Cologne, Wolfsburg, Turin and Doha, Qatar, the business model's potential stares you in the face. The MGGS was the first SUV the Chinese-owned brand made, and it's a big step away from the sports car that the old MG famously produced for decades. Instead, the budget SUV is a rival for the likes of the Renault Duster, Toyota's RAV4, Mazda's CX-5, Kia's Sportage, Nissan's Qashqai and the Hyundai Tucson. Measuring 4,500mm long and 1,855mm wide, the GS is actually 25mm longer and 5mm wider than the Tucson, while its 2,650mm wheelbase is 20mm short of the Hyundai. Step inside the GS and you're quickly reminded of its bargain basement price. Top spec models may get leather and piano black trims plus a decent sized touchscreen infotainment system, but they don't distract you from the feel of the materials employed by MG. There is nothing but hard, scratchy plastic on the dashboard, doors and center consoles, but will probably prove durable enough. The infotainment system offers a large 8-inch touchscreen, but it looks quite basic while compared with the rival systems and offers less functionality. Although MirrorLink is included, this is only compatible with Android phones. Those with iPhones will find there is no Apple CarPlay, only basic controls for your phone and music through the infotainment software. The MGGS is certainly spacious, much more than the Renault Duster. Up front, it's easy to get comfortable in the driver's seat, and there is plenty of room for all shapes and sizes. Head and leg room is good in the rear too, although the floor is higher than you did expect, forcing your knees upwards. Still, long-legged adults can properly stretch out and relax in the back of the GS, and there is a huge amount of space under the front seats. It also gets reclining rear seats as standard, a feature that's rare in a family SUV, let alone bargain-priced ones. The boat is practical, availing 483 litre of space, which expands to 1,336 litre with the rear seat folded. Is well ahead of competitors like the Mazda CX-5 and the Ford Escape. Undoubtedly, this is the best post-SEAC MG yet. If that sounds like an odd thing to say of a family crossover, it's a sign of how quickly MG is getting to grips with developing competitive cars that the GS actually gets down the road quite nicely. The steering is light but accurate and not without some sense of feedback from what the front tires are doing. There is a fair bit of a body roll through quick corners, but the car does at least have plenty of grip. MG still develops its cars on British road, and it shows in the way the GS deals with poor surfaces. There is a little more jiggle on rough roads than you did expect. For instance, the Qashqai has a smoother ride, but the GS is surprisingly capable at higher speeds, with tightly controlled damping and a sense of agility not often present in cars of this type. It isn't a laugh-out-loud fun, but when most drivers are positively sporadic, the GS is still among the more entertaining options. You could argue that the MGGS is far way behind segment leaders like the Volkswagen Tiguan, the Ford Focus and the Honda CR-V, oh, not forgetting the Mazda CX-5. But this is a sign that the Chinese cars are headed in the right direction and could soon challenge the Japanese and Koreans if they continue on this upward path.